Hey everybody, hope and pray that you're doing well. Today, as we come to our word from the Word, and today that word is pain. Pain. Now, unfortunately, most of us realize and understand that pain is a wonderful teacher. We think about that a lot of the lessons that we've learned in life have been because we had to go through painful moments, whether it be physical pain, emotional pain, even spiritual pain, if you want to go that route. Just to think about those are the lessons that we've learned in those moments, because when it hurts, it kind of sets up a marker, if you will, in our lives that we remember exactly what happened and what got us to that point. And if we learn from those painful moments, then the next time we come close, we say, nope, I don't want to feel that pain again. Now, last week we spent all week in one chapter of Second Chronicles chapter 20. This week, daily, I want us to look at a different chapter. So we're going to look at starting at at chapter 21 and then on through chapter 25 by the end of the week. So I pray and encourage you, as always, to read along with us. I'm just going to be pulling out a verse or two and then kind of summarizing the chapter in some cases, but I want you to read the whole passage. It's really separated very easily by the different kings that we're going to look at, and so that's what we're going to deal with this week. Now, as I say that, and as we look to pain, there's something you're going to see over and over this week, kind of coming back to that word pain. That there's some difficult lessons that are learned by these kings as some do complete evil in the sight of the Lord. Some decide that they want to do something godly and seek after the Lord, but they don't do it to the best of their abilities. So there's a lot we can learn from that. So, really, today, as we're talking about Jehoram, and as he is king of Judah, and we've left off from Jehoshaphat and the great things that he had done and that he did well. He wasn't perfect by any means, but known for being a godly king. Now you go into the ones we're talking about this week, and it's rare that as you look through these passages, I love the little one sentences about their lives, and it'll say such and such did what was right in the sight of the Lord, or it'll say such and such did what was evil in the sight of the Lord. And I mean, to me, that for all of us, could you imagine that in your obituary that it would have your name, and then it would say that you either did one of those two. You either did what was evil in the sight of the Lord, or you did what was right in the sight of the Lord. Now, that ought to make us really think about the things that we do and the things that we say. And as we're looking today, Jehoram had done evil. And in part of that, in part of his punishment that was coming, and basically, I mean, as you read through, and again, I'm gonna read from the end of the chapter, but before that, you see that he does what's evil in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord basically would have wiped him out if it had not been for his promise that he was going to have someone from the house of David always on the throne. And so he says, no, I'm not going to do that, and it was because of his covenant. That tells us about the mercy of God, and also the fact that he is a promise keeper, right? That he will keep his word no matter how much he would like to change it. He's going to be uh, a man of his word, if we is the way we would say it, but he's a God of his word. But along with that, too, we see that the prophet Elijah sends word to him and tells him exactly what is going to happen. And I know it should be no shock or surprise to us, but that's exactly what happens by the end of the passage. I mean, even tells him that, look, you're going to have a painful time, and that even that you're going to be struck with disease yourself, to where he says your intestines will come out. Now that's something good for you here first thing on a Monday morning if you're watching this early in the week. But now just think about that. This is what he's telling them. This is all based on his evil that he has done. But there's something else there that I want us to look at the end of the chapter. Second Chronicles chapter 21, just looking at the final verse, verse 20, says he was 32 years old when he became king. He reigned in Jerusalem 8 years, and to no one's sorrow departed. However, they buried him in the city of David, but not in the tombs of the kings. Now that'll say a whole lot about what they thought of him. If you didn't catch it, it basically said that he died and nobody was upset. Now you think about that, and I know that a lot of times we'll get in those depressive states where we'll think, well, man, nobody's going to care if I'm here or not, and that's a lie from the pit of hell. right? If we are God's children and He has us here with a purpose and a plan. But you see the difference in when we're living for God and when we're living for evil. And here we have a king who was living for evil, and he was doing such bad things and so much against God that when he did depart and go on, it was kind of one of those where he'd say, well, nobody was sorry to see him go. And don't let that be, what people would say about us. Don't let it be that when we pass on that people say, well, it's about time we need to move on to something more godly. No, let us leave that godly impression, that godly legacy, that people will not miss us. Who cares if we're here or not in the grand scheme of things? But they would miss the presence of God that's in our lives. I mean, you think about that. Some of the great heroes of faith that have gone on to be with the Lord. Yes, we know they are getting the reward for all the work that they have done in the name of the Lord. But yes, we miss them as a person, but more we should miss what they brought to the kingdom and what they were working towards for the kingdom. But let that be said of us, that when we're gone, not that people would be glad to see us go, or not that they would just not even care that we were gone, and not even that they would miss us, but that they would miss the presence of God in our lives that we brought to the table. And the only way that's going to happen is if we are in tune with God, that we are, as we talked about yesterday in Ruth chapter 3, in our Sunday service, that if we are seeking Him for more than just the food provisions, but that we are seeking Him for a relationship. And if we'll do that, then people will be blessed by the Spirit of God that's within us. There again, has nothing to do with us, but has all to do with Him. So today, don't let the pain of life and the pain of our sin and the consequences of our actions, and although we all fall a temptation to those things, let's not learn those painful lessons anymore, right? Let's learn from what we've already done. We can't go back and change the past, but let's try to avoid that pain for the future and instead leave behind a legacy of Jesus Christ. God bless you, and I pray you have a great day.